It's a very boring day. Honestly, it's very boring.
Many people should learn from this and to have the initiative and to go and explore things, because many people ask me how I find my passion. I think I will tell them do what Pixie did.
You could either be the one I'm bullying or I'm helping out.
Hi everyone, I'm here with awesome guest. I'm here with Pixie Cigar. So when I researched your background, I was really fascinated. So Pixie is Hungarian who is born in LA. Her father is Chinese Canadian and her mother is Hungarian Romani Gypsy. She speaks 5 languages including Mandarin, Malay, Japanese, Cantonese and English. She lived in US, Canada, China and Malaysia. She was born without a religion, then she converted to Islam at the age of 10. She's also the founder of Community Builders Union. She's also the KL chapter co-head of Legal Hackers Kuala Lumpur. She studied in Guangdong University of Technology, specialized in animated design and production. With that being said, welcome Pixie.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming to Startup Zone Talk.
No problem.
Okay, so let's talk. Let me ask you this: what type of kid when you grow up? I know you moved a lot. If I was your classmate, so who were you at school?
So you could either be the one I'm bullying or I'm helping out. No, me in school I was very competitive as usual, okay. But I was the type of person where if I did not like something, I could not be bothered to support it.
Okay.
Because it's a good and bad influence. My father always told me that just focus on the things you love. Things you don't love, they won't care. So if he knew I did not like a certain subject, they wouldn't care what's the grade I got. Okay. But the ones I really like, if it's 100% I got 92, then I'm in trouble. Because they know I love something. If I don't do what I love, then that's not good.
But by the way, where did you study your school time? Is it in China?
In China. So okay. I've studied 2 years in Penang.
Okay.
But
in Penang?
In Penang, yeah. But most of my time I studied in China because my parents didn't want me to have a North American education. Okay. That's the reason why we moved to China.
Okay. Why they didn't want that?
Because it's shite. No, because my father went through North American education. Okay. They have extremely low standards. I'm talking about the primary and secondary education. Okay. I'm not talking about tertiary. Okay. So for primary, secondary education, the standards are extremely low. In China, for me to get even past something, I need 60% to pass my test. But in the States or even Canada, 20 to 40% you can pass the test. Oh, okay. That's extremely low standard. But it depends on your what subject, of course. But 60% in many countries, you usually don't have such a high standard. In China, you have that.
I had friends from China, and I don't know. I feel they are geniuses. This is like in math, they always ace everything.
No, it's just that
they know
our
how to play instrument music. Like I'm like, what you are, guy?
That is kind of a thing in China, but for me in schools, I always went to boarding school. I went to military school, and I loved it. It's just,
really?
It's something that I always wanted to do, to join the military, but due to my nationality, that's another story. But I enjoy the extreme strict life.
I didn't expect that because I felt you are like the free spirit. You will not like rules and.
No, the great thing about rules is that it gives you the liberty to think about other things in life.
Okay.
Because if you
you can focus on.
Yeah, because you can focus. Because if every day you know that you only have one type of uniform that you're wearing every single day, you don't spend time on thinking about clothes. If you know that every day you're going to have this kind of schedule, you don't have to think about what am I going to do throughout the day. You have allocated time to do what you want or you're interested in.
And I think many also great entrepreneurs like Mark Zuckerberg or Steve Jobs, they follow that philosophy. They just wear the same t-shirt every single day.
It's very liberating. To me, it's the most liberating thing when I was doing military training, because of course I was for the under 18, so it's not what you're thinking of the actual military.
Okay.
But it's so liberating, and you have so much freedom, and you are forced to do something you love. because most of us never have that discipline, even I myself. And it's hard for me to say, okay, every day I'm going to work out or do this, do that. But when you're in an environment that you have no other option, you have to do it. As long as you make sure you chose the one thing you love. Like for me, I love military training, so it was very beneficial to me, and that's why I loved it.
I'm opposite. I hate military training. I ran out from military in my country.
It was the best thing, and I envy people who managed to go because I could never join military.
Okay.
I loved it. Yeah.
So after that, you went to university in China also.
Yes.
So I noticed you studied animation design and production, but looking at your background, at your resume, at what you're accomplishing now, I don't see much connection.
Yeah.
Can you explain a lot?
So actually, animation was not a mistake, but a huge coincidence. I actually applied to go for film production because I was in opera school. I did theater for a few years and all of that, and I actually applied for film and I got accepted, and our school actually had a very good film production program. But for some reason that year only 7 people signed up.
Okay, so
for a major that was actually quite good in our school.
Okay.
So they canceled my program.
Oh.
So I am there at school registration day and they're like, okay, only 7 people signed up. Pick something else because you're not.
So they're not going to
film.
Open.
It's not financially. It doesn't make sense. It's 7 people. And then I'm like, what's the closest thing? And they say animation. I'm like, you mean like the little graphics that fly around? And they say, yeah. I say, okay, it's about the same thing, right? I did not know you need to learn drawing or any of these things. So I went through that. I spent every hour that I had to get up my grades and get up to relearn everything that everyone else learned. And I actually really enjoyed it. But for me, I didn't see myself doing it in the long term because I knew I like to deal with people. Even in animation projects at school, I always focus on doing managing the projects itself. So making sure that who's doing what. And I believe that if I did not study animation, it won't be so easy for me to do what I do today.
Okay.
It has direct correlation.
So it helped you in some way?
A lot of ways, like dealing with so many different projects, different personalities, because animation, you're dealing with so many different people to just do one film. And that major taught me so much, really. I'm really grateful that I did that.
Okay. So you are the founder of Community Builders Union. Can you tell me why community building is important? And how it makes difference for a country, for example?
So it's so important because human beings, we can't help but come together. It's almost impossible for a person to live a lone wolf life, and those who do, you need to put extra effort to. And when going away in the mountains, stick to yourself. That's not easy. By nature, as humans, we come together because when beginning of time,
we are social animals.
We're social animals. Beginning of time, we're actually very weak as compared to all of the animals outside. So we knew that we had to stick together. And for me, the reason why I'm so passionate about community building in a sense is that we have went through the past 20 years with technology and all of that, the recent 20 years when we're so used to, especially with internet, to communicate what I want you to think about something. And I feel like you can see it more and more that it's becoming more of I'm initiating something and I want my target audience or the people I'm trying to help to give feedback and get them to be part of it. So it's not just me helping you alone. It's the people being helped to give me the feedback to see how we can do it together. And it makes more sense because it's more organic. It's the original way how we used to live, but there was a lot of breakage throughout time. And with this fast-paced technology and how things are going so fast and so crazy, community building is a way to bring people back to their origins. And I absolutely just love it because it really focuses on what the people actually want, whether it be in a social community that you're helping a underprivileged target audience, or you're helping a business trying to grow to see how can I have my customers really, how do I take care of them, and how do I make sure my products actually help these people and achieve what they want. Also bring in that ideology inside there.
Okay, going back to you and community building, since you travel a lot and you didn't stick in one place for a long time, are you like looking for a home through community building?
I think it kind of makes sense. For me, I always jumped around. I'm used to I'm used to being the one having to break into a community, and that's another reason why I started focusing on this, because I saw that every time I'm a lone wolf, I move to a new place. If I didn't break into a community, I cannot survive. I need that breaking in to be able to, I know where everything is, I can handle myself.
So that helped you with moving many places. It helped you to deal with different people, different groups. Yeah.
That's actually, I think I gave a talk last year about it. And the first thing about learning how to build communities is learning how to break into one.
Okay.
For me, that's the first step when you just
to be
get
the
started.
stranger who's trying to penetrate.
Because you need to understand, like, how do these group of people think?
Yeah.
How do they live their life? And how
what is their culture?
What's their culture, their ideology? How do you come into this community as an outsider, be able to absorb all the good and the bad together and to see that how can you improve that? And without being able to break in, I don't see you being good at creating, because you won't understand the fundamentals of how these human beings work together.
Correct. I got you totally. Okay, for like, let's say government and NGOs and corporates, how community building can help them? Or let me rephrase the question. What NGO and governments and corporates should do about community building?
Community building essentially is building the government.
Okay.
It is the same strategy. If you look at political science books and you look at the very few community building books out there, it's the same way. How do you identify who are the key people in the community and drive them? How do you support them? And being the one to be able to step back. As a community builder, you always have to be able to be the one stepping back.
Okay.
And this is what governments and large organizations do. They create this environment. In a way, they step back and oversee what's happening and have key players to make sure everything functions. So I wouldn't say that how would other governments or NGOs learn from community building. They're already doing that. We just don't call it community building. And it's now that we're kind of bringing this topic of community building up into the everyday lives, because essentially that's what government does. They're building communities.
Okay. Can you tell us more about Legal Hackers KL? Well, what is it?
So Legal Hackers KL, for those who don't know, it's actually a global chapter coming from, if I'm not mistaken, it started in Washington. I can't remember. Correct me if I'm wrong. But it is a legal technology community. So legal tech is the technology that focuses on the intersection between technology and law. So it could be law per se, of how to improve law, create more access to law, make lawyers more productive. It could also be the law supporting technology. So a lot of times when we have new technologies coming out,
changing and
it's happening so fast, and how do you govern these technologies? So this is also in the conversation when we talk about legal tech. So that's also including fintech, red tech. How can you support technology or law, vice versa? So that's what Legal Hackers does. It's a grassroots community, completely non-profit. There's about 150 chapters global. I came about it in April of 2018. I was always interested in law. I was that 16 years old who brought a criminal law book on the bus to go to school every day.
Oh, wow.
That was my casual light reading. I was fascinated over criminal law. And when I've been in tech for 3 years and I came across this person, he was telling me about legal tech. I'm like, why wasn't I thinking about this? I never had, if you've seen all of my experience, I've never had a technology that I focused on. I was more of the tech ecosystem. It was never this particular type of technology that I was really, really passionate about. And legal tech was that. So me and my other friend Jofan and another girl, we started Legal Hackers KL. So we brought this global chapter to KL.
How long now? How long now that's in Malaysia?
So about May, last year May.
Okay, so less than a year.
Yes, we're very young. And our objectives of last year was to have lawyers become more aware of technology. And a lot of our focus was on the productivity of lawyers. A reason why is productivity.
Do you find any resistance, any challenges while doing that?
Of course, because reason I was saying, we focus on productivity because access to justice, there are a lot of barriers due to the Legal Professions Act in Malaysia. So the law itself prohibits a lot of growth in technology.
Oh, okay.
And Malaysia's case, this is really, really interesting. So we can help lawyers become more productive with the access. So for example, if you do a lawyer listing site, that is illegal.
Okay.
Simple as that. You cannot advertise legal and medical services in Malaysia.
Okay.
So yes, you're saying, yeah, I want to create access to justice, make sure if I am facing something, I can reach out to the correct lawyers at all time. That is not legal in Malaysia.
Okay, so they need to reframe the
legal prevention acts have been going through several years. Every few years we talk about how can we update it, how can we improve upon it. But on my side, I want to make sure that lawyers in the tech community are ready for it. Whether there's a change in the LPA or not, there's so many other ways of how you can see to grow legal technology. That's my main focus. And this year, a lot of my focus is having tech people aware of the potential business value in legal technology, because at the end of the day, it's always about business. How can you make it profitable? How can you make it widespread? Okay. And instead of going the mushy, why don't you feel good? Why do you want to help society in legal tech? The approach I'm trying to take this time is where can you see the business value in legal technology? Because you need a business value for more entrepreneurs to go about and say, okay, this is something I want to solve, and this is something that I can actually bring it out to market. So okay, that's this year.
Very interesting. Okay, walk me through the typical day of Pixie.
It's a very boring day. Honestly, it's very boring. I'm an extreme workaholic.
Okay, that's not boring.
Yeah,
to me it's exciting.
Generally, I wake up at 8:30 in the morning.
Okay.
It takes me about 10-15 minutes to shower, get dressed, everything I'm done.
Wow.
Benefit of military school.
Okay.
And this is
very efficient.
This is including all my skincare. I don't cut anything out.
Okay.
The moment I wake up, I'm up, shower, do my bed, everything is done. I get out of the house, I go to work. So I have a corporate job as well, but I usually don't share about it. But it's also on community building, and I focus on building their community. Okay. And pretty much from there until I go home around 10-11 o'clock at nighttime. So whether I'm working on my corporate side or my own things, I only go home when I finish work. Okay. I'm the type of person I really dislike to bring work home. I've saw my parent and my father do it, and it's something that even if you're there, you're not really there. So it was always very important to me.
So
I always keep work.
You separate work and your life. So work is work. You'll be at office until you're done. Then you go home.
Yeah, to me that's important. And when I'm at home, usually I'll spend my weekend I try to make sure Saturday is my chill day and Sunday is work day, because I do know I cannot manage to have a full weekend to myself. But Saturday is the day I try to be, alright, Pixie, this is your chill day. So I'll sit on the sofa, I'll do a lot of masks. Okay. That's the main way to keep myself sane. But generally just watching some videos and just chilling. So I won't say that the Pixie's day is generally quite similar, but I'm always finding all sorts of different projects to make things interesting.
Okay. Wow. Okay, if you were asked to give a TED talk, what would it be about?
It's hard. It'll always be about community building, but I think if you're talking about in the case of a TED talk, and to see that benefit more people when they first talk it, I'll look more into the breaking into communities itself. Because community building, yes, it's a great skill to have, but it's not something essential to everybody's life. But knowing how to break into a community, I think that is more important, because we're always going into new environments. You're going to university, that's a community on its own. A new job, shifting from place to place. You need to be able to find your position in every place you go. It shouldn't always be that, I'm the lone wolf, I'm the newcomer. As a newcomer, you need to be able to accept and also improve your surrounding. And so if it's a TED talk, for sure would be how can a person break into communities, because I think it'll be more beneficial for more people.
Okay, Pixie. Did you have any failures before, and how did you react to it, and how did it set you for what you are today?
It's for sure a lot of failures, it's just the general day-to-day work. But I would say that my biggest failure per se is that I spent too much time trying to figure out what I want to do in my life. I don't see that as a failure. Yeah, I do, and in my family, we're the type of person that 7 years old, you know what you want to do, and you're sent to professional schooling, and like you are professionally trained for this one thing.
That's very extreme. I think there are people who die and they don't know what.
Exactly. So my family is like that. It's like a lot of people in my family, we already knew what we want to do, and we go into it right away. Like my mom started dancing since she was 3. My father, at young age, was already in motorcycle racing. He was ex Grand Prix racer. My sisters too, and our family was, if I say I want to become a dancer, next week I'm enrolled in a dancing school and all of that. So we take it quite seriously, because my parents always wanted to make sure that we get to choose what we want to do with our life, but as parents they need to provide that environment for us to do what we want to achieve. I spent too much time trying to figure out what I want to do, and for me it was very stressful because I'm the firstborn.
Yeah, always there's more pressure on the first one. I know that.
And in my family, the pressure comes from, you're the firstborn, you know what to do with your life. They wouldn't tell you. My family's like extreme. They're not willing to tell me what to do in my life, and I actually really disliked it because I wanted, just tell me what to do and let me just achieve it. It took me until when I was around 18, 19 years old. I'm like, okay, I give up. I'm never gonna figure this stuff out. Let me stop complaining and being depressed about it. So I started going out, started going to events. Every single possible event I would go. I would find out initiatives online and just reach out to organizer. How can I help you? Don't need to pay me or anything. I'll handle my own livelihood, but let me work with you and let me try to figure things out. And that's how I got into doing NGO work, events and all of that, because I just went around asking people, do you need help? Let me help you and let me learn.
I think that's amazing, and
that was
many people should learn from this and to have the initiative and to go and explore things, because many people ask me how I find my passion. I think I will tell them, do what Pixie did.
Keep trying a bunch of things.
Just go, explore things, even it's for free, volunteer, and then you will know what you are passionate about.
And I do understand for a lot of people, I come from a very privileged situation that I always see that girls have this privileged point that they are not socially pressured to have a career at a very young age. And I think that a lot of girls have to take advantage of this. Some people call it discrimination. Yes, there's a bit of that, but we are able to say, you know what, let me figure out my life. We have that. As a boy, you don't get that chance. You're never going to get that chance.
Okay, let me ask you, do you have any regrets?
Yeah, not doing this earlier.
Okay.
I wish I did this since I was 13. Why did I wait till I was 20 years old to do that?
Fair enough. What is the most thing you are grateful for?
Definitely my family, because yes, they're horrible for not telling me what to do with my life. It's terrible, terrible people. But it's because that they always wanted to make sure that I could do what I love. They always gave me this absolute freedom. Maybe a bit too much to my own opinion when I was younger. And for me, if I tell them that, you know what, Monday I'm gonna go into work, and I spend my weekends, I spend my nights always working, they're very understanding, because they know that, hey, you're in your 20s, you can afford to work yourself. Like completely work a lot, and they won't give me that, oh, no, you have to spend time at home. They'll never do that, because we're very, very serious about what we want to achieve, and we never say that, oh no, spend a few more hours just chilling at home. They will never ever say that, because they as well would, if they want to achieve something, they will spend all hours to try to learn and improve themselves in that area.
Okay, do you have any hobbies? What do you do like to decompress after you're done with your busy, I see, very busy day?
Masks.
Masks.
I'm not joking.
You mean like face mask? Okay.
No, because what I love to do is doing events, doing projects. I love thinking of ways how to get people interested about the subject. I love engaging people. So if you put my work aside, you put all of my things I do, I like to pretty much relax. I like doing masks. I'm very into skincare, but I try to find things that can calm me down, because I'm the type that keeps thinking a lot.
Why do you think that decompress you? What is the idea of those masks?
No, because
improving skin.
Well, for me, I never wear makeup. I only wear lipstick to make me not look so pale.
Okay.
But
no, actually, you look amazing. Yeah.
Thank you very much. You have good lighting here. That's why I'm very lucky. You guys have good lighting. But the reason why I like to do mask and skincare, because it's one of those things that you have to take your time and do it. You can't rush with these things.
Okay.
So even though if I want to be like, no, let me just finish this, you cannot rush with stuff. So I try to find things when I'm trying to relax, do things I can't rush with. I even enjoy like listening to podcasts and doing the laundry or cooking. Things that I have, the washing machine can only get, there's so much time. I can't rush it.
Okay.
And even cooking as well. So I like to still listen to my podcasts and learn on different things, but force myself in situations that I have to use this amount of time to achieve something.
Okay, because we're running out of time. I have to
No
go
problem.
through the question quickly. Okay, you talked in one of your videos, which I like a lot, about being authentic.
Yeah.
And you gave an example using the swear words. So can you tell our audience a bit about that, just in 1 minute?
So people always know if you're not being authentic. Like the great thing about swear words is that it brings you down to earth. I'm not saying go and be rude to people, but when you say that, people know that you are unfiltered.
Okay.
You're unfiltered, yes, per se of the words you choose, but because it's that quick snappiness, people know that came out directly of what you truly feel. And not saying everyone needs to use swear words. The reason why I did the video, because I felt that it is something, it's so important to stay authentic, because people can look right into you. You can try to put on a mask all you want. People are not going to know that. And a lot of other speakers also agree on the same perspective of the power of using swear words. It brings you down. Yeah.
Gary Vee has a
Gary
video
Vee
about
also
it.
talks about that, but it brings you down. Because that moment you use that, especially a localized swear word, then we're at the same level. Then you're not that very atas person up there. No, I only speak in like British English. No, you bring people down. And it's the same power of using slang as well.
Yeah.
And accents.
For me, it's a strange thing. In Arabic, my original language, I don't use any swear words. I'm like usually very polite. But in English, I would say things I will never say it in Arabic.
But
I don't know why.
linguistic differences too.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm saying that it's important of the language you use, the slangs. Like in Malaysia, my accent is very different right now compared to I'm speaking at home. Like I have a very naturally neutral accent. You can't tell where I'm from. But in Malaysia, I'll speak more with their accent itself. I'll subconsciously do that because it brings two people down to earth. And
so I think what you're trying to say, if in your everyday talk you use some swear words, it's okay to bring it to a speech or to outside. But if you don't use it, don't fake it and try to add it.
Just don't fake it. At the end of the day, just be real.
Yeah, just be real.
It's so cheesy to say be real, but it's true. Like if you're a person who never use swear words, and then you go to this very millennial thing, you try to act cool. It's like
add filters and
you try to use swear words just to stay cool. It's like yo, I'm with the kids. Like no, it is so like you always see that teacher in school who tries to be cool, and everyone
nobody
sees
like that.
Like it's so funny.
Yeah. Okay, last question. How can people reach out to you?
To LinkedIn, because I am very irresponsible with my emails.
Okay. I can testify.
Yeah, I am very irresponsible. I have 85 emails that I'm semi-ignoring, mainly because I was going through a burnout period, so I'm just like trying to not deal with my emails right now. But LinkedIn is the one place that I check everything.
Okay.
I will always check it. WhatsApp, not so much. LinkedIn, for sure, you can get to me.
Okay. We'll put the link below so people can reach out to you.
No problem.
Okay, Pixie, thank you very much. It was a sweet and amazing and astonishing talk. It was a delight to have you on Startup Zone Talk.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.